When we come out here and do deliveries, we always have to put our safety first. There is no amount of money that is worth putting your life at risk, your safety. And we've heard too many horror stories of delivery drivers getting hurt really bad or even killed when coming out here and delivering. And so the bottom line is, when you go out and deliver, you need to trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right, trust your instincts. But I wanted to share a couple stories with you guys from some delivery drivers of some situations that they had ran into. This dasher starts off by saying, I had a dash quite a ways past town during the nighttime hour. The neighbors of this customer were few and far between. A little bit before I reached the house, the customer James asked me in a message if I was a guy or girl. Now, if I received this message, I would be freaked out. Why are you asking me this question? This is completely irrelevant to who's delivering your food. And especially, it sounds like this dasher was out in the country, and I've delivered dark, deep in the country at night, and it kind of gives you kind of an eerie feeling at times, depending on where you're at, if you don't see any other houses. So I can totally see how this dasher is feeling. She goes on to say, I then asked why, and he said, just wondering. Being a weary female by this point, I almost turned around right then and there. But the house was literally a block ahead, and I figured it was just a teenager being silly. To my huge surprise, when I pulled into the driveway, my headlights were facing right into the front door of the house. There was no screen door, and the door to the house was left wide open. To make matters worse, all the lights were off inside the house, and the only thing lighting up the person's house were my headlights. I did not get out of the car whatsoever. I immediately took off and got out of there, and after I felt I was in a safe place away from this home, I reported it for safety concerns. Have you ever been scared like this on a delivery? So I've got to say, this dasher did the right thing. I would have did the same thing. It's dark out. You're deep in the country somewhere. At least that's what it sounds like. There's no other houses around. And this customer is asking you if you're a guy or a girl. That's a red flag. And then you pull up, the house is completely dark. They know you're on your way because they're messaging you, and they turn off all the lights, have the front door open. This is a massive, massive red flag. And again, you are not obligated to deliver an order if you feel like your safety is at risk. It is always better safe than sorry, and I gotta say, this dasher made the right decision. Now, years ago, which I had actually put this in one of my videos, I had delivered to a home, and the neighborhood was a decent neighborhood, but the house that I was delivering to looked abandoned to me. And in the notes, the customer wanted me to go inside the garage and put the food, I believe it was on top of their dryer. Well, I pull up and the garage is opening up, and the garage is like loaded with stuff. There was a car in there, it was dark. It just gave me a very off feeling. I did put the food by the front door because I was absolutely not going into that house. But going back to that situation, I probably should have just called support and told them I didn't feel safe delivering this order. Something was just off. Granted, nothing happened, thankfully, but something was off. Them wanting me to go in this dark garage. I couldn't even see the dryer, first of all. It was just an eerie feeling. So again, never ever put your safety at risk. It just isn't worth it. And no amount of money is worth your safety delivering somebody's food. Your safety is worth way more than that. Let me share one other story with you guys from another delivery driver. This delivery driver said, I delivered to a hand-to customer delivery address, texted them I arrived, so to be prepared to accept deliver. And I do that too. If it's a hand it to me, I'll let them know I'm on my way. Even though they get notifications, it kind of opens up that communication. And I'll also message them that I have arrived, and typically they'll come out front to get their order. But they go on to say, Need to verify house number since no porch light is on. Knocked twice lightly, door opened, and there was complete darkness. A voice said, "You can bring it into me." I freaking froze, and I gotta agree, I would have too. My mind would have been saying, I gotta get out of here. They go on to say, then came to my senses, took a few steps back into the street lights and put it on the sidewalk while backing away slowly. Person never came out. I took multiple photos, completed deliver, and reported to DoorDash support of an unsafe situation. Be careful out there, folks. And I gotta say, they handled this perfectly. My question is, who opened the door? Somebody opened the door and then told her or him to come in, and it's complete darkness in there. That's kind of a scary situation. And again, you always have to put your safety first. Just because somebody tells you to come in, you do not have to. If you feel unsafe, you do not have to deliver the food. So I think they handled this situation absolutely perfect. They left the food on the sidewalk, and even if you don't even have a moment, you're in a bad situation, you don't have to leave the food. Get yourself to safety. That is number one always. And it is always good to call support and report the situation. That way they know the driver had an unsafe experience, and that way if another driver has an unsafe experience and they report that customer, then hopefully the customer will get banned from using the app. So just a quick few safety tips on your DoorDash app, and this is also an Uber Eats, and I know it's on other apps as well. You'll see a safety icon. It looks like a badge with like a cross on it. If you tap on that, this is going to open up your safety toolkit, and you'll see at the top it says talk to a safety agent. Second, it says report safety issue, and third, it says share your location. So you can share your location with a loved one when you go out to do deliveries. That way they know where you're at all times. So these are definitely good tools to have at your fingertips, and down below you can also swipe for 911, and I'll also show you where this is on Uber Eats. So in the bottom right hand corner you're going to see the menu icon. If I tap on that, it will bring me into my little bar that has all my information, settings, help, opportunities. But at the top you're going to see that safety badge again, and it says safety. Just tap on that, and then you have the same things that are in DoorDash: follow my ride, ride check, emergency contacts, emergency data sharing. So you do have some things at your fingertips. So when you come out here, you can share your location, and you can also report a safety issue. One other thing, as many of you guys know, but I know there's a lot of new viewers, I do always carry this on my wristlet. I do have my high-powered USB flashlight. It is rechargeable. You just got to make sure to recharge it. Recently, I forgot to recharge it, and I needed it. But this is perfect. It's actually very, very bright, so you can really see where you're at. This is also awesome for apartment complexes, and I will have a link down below in the description for it. But the other thing is for your safety, pepper spray. And I have this right on my wrist because I want quick, easy access to it. It will not do you any good in a pocket. You need quick and easy access. So definitely make sure you have a flashlight and some protection, and also know how to get to your safety toolkit quick in case you are ever in an emergency. Let me know if you guys have ever ran into a sketchy or unsafe situation when you were out there and what you ended up doing. But we're gonna go ahead and get the apps turned on and get these wheels to moving. All right, guys, so I got the apps turned on. Uber Eats brought me in this offer, $3 for 1.7 miles. That was obviously a decline. DoorDash came through $7.50 for 3.4 miles for this Indian restaurant behind me. Now, this is a newer Indian restaurant in town. I have not picked up from here. And typically with the Indian restaurants, the food's usually not ready. There's usually like a little bit of a wait. It says it's going to be ready in like 2 more minutes. So hopefully that's the case. We're going to head in there and check on the order. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so I got the food. It is a busy, popular restaurant. There's kind of a grocery store connected to it, and I have another Indian restaurant that kind of has the same thing going, and they're usually like really popular. Anyways, somebody walks kind of past me, and they kind of go over to like a table off to the side and is like looking around. And then I seen an order over there, which kind of looks like my order because mine has a mango drink with it, and there was like a mango drink sitting there. I'm like, okay, that must be my order, but I guess you have to check in with them. They wanted to verify. But we got the order, 8 minutes, 3.35 miles, and the customer seems to be in a house. We're on our way. All right, guys, got the order dropped off, smooth drop off. The other thing I did want to mention for like newer drivers when dropping off an order, especially like when it's late night, using your delivery bag can be like your badge walking up to the door. So, you know, somebody's suspicious of like, why is this person walking up to my neighbor's house? Or maybe there's a roommate, it's like, who is this? You have your delivery bag. It shows that you're delivering with, you know, Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, whatever platform you're delivering with, but it kind of acts as your badge, so the neighborhood knows that this person's getting a delivery. They're not suspicious or anything. Anyways, we're gonna get out of this neighborhood and we're gonna see what else we can line up, and hopefully it'll be a good one. I'll let you guys know. So the offers are really coming in tonight. I don't think I can remember a night where they're coming in back to back to back as I'm hitting the decline. Now, some of the offers are all right, but they're not hitting my criteria. And then of course you have the terrible offers where you don't have to think twice about. Here's a sample of just some of the offers. Like I said, they were coming in like crazy, but I held out as I usually do. But this is what some of them, what I declined. $10.43 sounds nice, but not for 2 pickups, and then 10.6 miles. So that was a decline for me. And then I got this offer from DoorDash, $5 for 4.5 miles, another decline. And then another offer from Uber Eats, $16.06. Sounds nice, of course, but when you look at the mileage, 23.1 miles, that was another decline. And then, as I said, held out as I usually do, got this offer from DoorDash, $9 for 4.4 miles for Pizza Hut. Now, I've picked up from Pizza Hut recently, and they were good. The order was pretty much ready. They just had to box it up. So hopefully that's the case tonight. We're heading in. DoorDash says it should be ready, or at least for the pickup time. So we're on time. We're heading in. Hi, picking up for Alec J with DoorDash.
Alec J?
Alec J, yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Can I see the order real quick?
Yeah.
Because to be honest, it's going to be pretty hard if I just look through every single ticket. DoorDash is very helpful.
I know. I was looking at it too. I was like, that's no details.
Yeah.
It is cool.
Yes. 1 second.
Okay.
Then do you need to take it for a picture or anything or not?
Let me take it.
Just so I can reprint it right now.
It says take a photo of your pizza bag, pizza bag inside the store. I guess I just want a picture of my pizza bag in the store. Cool.
I don't know if I need it or not. Maybe the customer. I'll read it.
Okay, thank you.
Have a nice day.
You too. So order was ready, except they had to find it. He wanted to look at my app to see what was in the order, but it doesn't give any details. It just says order, order, and order. So it doesn't give any helpful details, but he was able to track it down through the system and verify before he gave me the order, which I really appreciate because you don't want to give the customer the wrong order. So it was ready, which is awesome. Customers 9 minutes at 3.2 miles. We're on our way. right, guys, got the order dropped off. So this customer was a meet at door. And like I've said before, with the meet at door, I'll message them that I'm on my way. Even though they get notification, it kind of opens up that communication. Sometimes they'll respond, oh, just leave it at my door. So I get to the apartment complex. It was actually an apartment complex. They had left their apartment number in the notes. Sometimes that happens, but I'm familiar with this apartment complex. And luckily these days, the GPS takes you like really close to the vicinity. I remember back in the day, you had to go stop at the map and figure it out all yourself. So it's nice that the GPS takes you right to the building. Anyways, I'm walking up. I message them when I'm really close that I've arrived. I get to their door. They also have like a Ring doorbell, so they get notification that somebody's at their door. Anyways, I ended up ringing it, even though they get notification to their phone from the Ring camera. Nothing. And nobody comes, of course. That happens sometimes with the meet at door. So I just end up setting the order down, and I'm going to take a photo of the order as well as their apartment number in the photo for my records, as well as message them that I had left the order, even though they can probably see that I'm leaving the order. But I'm kind of stepped off to the side, and he ends up opening the door. Maybe he thought I left. Well, he got his order. He seemed totally fine, but one of those situations where you're like, was he waiting for me to leave to come get the order? But he got his food, so he should be happy. But tonight was one of those busy nights. I'm like, wow, not a bad night at all. Of course, I had a lot of declines, of course, because they didn't meet my criteria, but I did have some good orders to get the wheels to moving. But always appreciate you guys riding along with me, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.